there are 220 million Muslims living in India. This is about 222. It is about 16 to 18% of population. 16 to 18% of population. And now for the last 10 years or so, these 16% of population, the Muslims, they are somehow being pushed into the category of second-class citizens. Somehow things are changing. India, which became independent in 1947, from the very beginning, claimed to be a secular state, contrary to Pakistan, which declared from the very beginning that it is an Islamic state. It was founded, it was built with the DNA of Islam, not India. India was always saying we are secular. Of course, secularism in Asia is different than secularism in Europe. Secularism in Europe means separation of state, sacrum and profanum, separation of state and creed, religion. But in India, secularism means equal treatment of all faiths, of all religions, and somehow managing the relations among these creeds, the religions. So there is a big difference. One may say, so what happened? What happened suddenly after 70 years of independence? The Muslims are being quite clearly and openly told, now you stay in your place, you are not in the first row. You stay in you must understand where is your place. It is somewhere there at the back. Nothing will happen to you, but you just move back. Now, this is a completely new thing. So why did this happen? It did not happen suddenly. It did not happen suddenly. There was a party, the JP, Bharatiya Janata Party, and suddenly things have changed. Nothing happened suddenly, especially in India. Nothing happened suddenly. So I just will make a small introduction from where all these ideas came. They came from Europe. The Westminster democracy is defined as the rule of democratically elected majority over minority. Okay, that is fine. Now the question arises, what criterion one takes to define what is majority, who is the majority? And the idea was that it is a political program, that the competition will be on political programs. And the political program which will get most or majority of the votes at the ballot box, now that party will get the mandate to rule. So the competition was meant within the Westminster democracy which we have to compete on programs, on merit, on reason, to compete on merit and vision. But quite soon, the political actors in Europe and also in Asia, in South Asia also, they have learned that reason-based programs, politics, may be successfully replaced by raising emotions to mobilize the masses to vote for them. In other words, you don't present a program based on reason, but raise emotions. That's what instrument can be used to raise emotions? Well, language, ethnicity, and of course, last but not least, religion. Religion can be used to mobilize the masses to vote for a particular party. So that is what was happening. That is how Pakistan became a separate state, based on religion. We are Muslims. We should have a separate state. We should have in India, as I said, this was not the case. So this idea of clear the borders, where the particular religion starts and when it ends. Now this comes from European history in 1554, the Treaty of Augsburg, and later on confirmed in 1646, the two treaties of Westphalia. They have ruled, they put a clear tie, relation between the ruler and the subject in Maastricht. There was a principle, caius regio eius religio. Who is the religion of the ruler, prince, king, something? The religion of the ruler is the religion of the people, of the subject, the people who live in his state. If they have other religion, well, go to other state. That was caius regio eius religio. Of course, it started with the Protestant movement and Martin Luther in 1570, etc. The Protestants and the Catholics and all these things. But that was the beginning. Nation and nationalism are European inventions. These are European inventions which were found very useful by the new elites in South Asia. To tell the people you are a nation, well, that's a good idea. We must tell them they are separate. You vote for us. Now, how to mobilize them? Religion appeared to be very useful. As I said, that's how Pakistan came to exist. But not in India. Apparently not in India. What the BJP party is ruling now for 3 years in India is saying that we are now building the real India. We are building the real India, how it was before the Europeans and only now we are coming back and taking the old traditions to be alive again. No, absolutely not. They are doing totally opposite thing. Before Europeans, before introduction of the invention of nation, nationality, and religion, and India was the land, was the space of Dharma. Now Dharma has got a number of definitions, but I would like to refer to the paper which was presented yesterday by Professor Akar, who said, well, the way of sun worshipping God is to laugh. The way of, field of worshipping God is to give food, give grain or something. So this is Dharma. There is a certain order, cosmological order, and every component has got its place. With reference to the people and individuals, one should follow his own way towards the sacred, towards God. In other words, Dharma in terms of religion, the term came later, was introduced by Europe. Because Europeans must have things very definitely stated. 1, 2, 3, 4, if this is this, starts here, ends here, starts here, ends here. But the nation. Dharma was not like this. It was a space of different ways, schools of worshipping deity. Also in Islam, there was a number of Sufi schools. There was a number of small communities which were not asking themselves, well, let's see how the people in other towns believe. What is their faith? We should change them that they have the faith as we have. So that was not the case. It was only the Europeans when they came, they wanted to get some idea what is India, because India is chaotic. India is, but it moves forward. So in order to understand what they are dealing with, the British Europeans, they've introduced the census, spis ludności. And one of the questions was religion. And you cannot write, well, actually I am the Sufi school of this and that. No. You say Hindu, Islam, Buddhist, Christian. So the dense spirituality of India was transformed, was intended to be transformed into ideology. The religion became ideology. In the harmonic order, religion was a dense spirituality. So now when BJP says we are coming back to what India was earlier, no, on the contrary, they are following exactly into the steps of the British to define clearly. We are Hindus, we are majority. So they are taking the religion as the criterion to establish who is majority and who is minority. But minority, the Muslims were always a minority in India. But they were ruling India for 600 years. For 600 years. They were always a minority in India. So when you take the religion as a criterion to establish majority during the democratic election, you are making a mockery out of democracy. A mockery, taki żarty. You are making a mockery out of you are not saying, you are not even saying Caius Regio, Elis Religio, that statement for 16th and 17th century, but what in fact the BJP is saying and promoting is Caius Religio, Elis Regio, means who has the majority of religion, you must have power. So it is a mockery of democracy. In Europe, there was if the prince is a Catholic, right, all the people have to be Catholic. Protestants, go to the place where the prince is Protestant. But what the BJP is saying now is Caius Religio. If you the majority of religion, particularly, you are a majority, of course. In that case, you must rule. In that case, this has nothing to do with the Dharmani pre-European order. So this was just to say how things can be viewed at. Now, BJP is a very new party. It was established by Bharatiya Janata Party. It was established in 1982. What is 82? In terms of India, it is like this one. The time of why did the independent India started to be ruled by a party, Congress party, which promoted secularism and which promoted Indian nationalism. Indian nationalism is not Indian nationalism. It is Indian. It is the Jacobinian nationalism based on the concept of citizen. You are a citizen. I'm not asking you about religion. That is of no interest to me. Citizens of India. But isn't it strange that this exotic in India, European invention, became the concept that started to rule independent India? After all, there were many organizations in the 19th century promoting the memory and promoting the heritage of culture and civilization of India. Brahmo Samaj, Arya Samaj. There was the movement of protecting cows. Very important movement. At that time, movement of protection. So there were many Ayurveda movement. I'm talking about 19th century. So there were many organizations promoting themselves as the patrons, as the protectors of the heritage of India. But they did not get the power. Why? In the 20s of 20th century, when the political life in India started to grow, there were parties, etc., There was one organization established in 1925. This organization has a very good position here now. In 1925, the name of the organization was RSS, Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. And it was established upon and on the basis of glorification of Italian fascism. Glorification of Mussolini, Italian fascism. This was the way followed. I will not go into details how they organized. It was a fascist organization. This organization exists till now. And different parties that were coming out of RSS were meant to be the face, the ideological political face of RSS, acceptable to the electorate in India. The fascist RSS realized that their program, if they put it forward, we are like this, people will not go for this. But if you present the face acceptable to electorate, there is a big chance. So RSS functioned, but the organization which came out of the fascist group like RSS were absolutely not acceptable in the 30s or 40s especially to the British to take power from them after India becomes independent. After all, England has just finished the war with fascism. So that's when the Congress Party came. And even more, the former member of the RSS, one Mr. Naturam Godse, in January 1948, he killed Gandhi. The member of RSS, Naturam Godse, shot Gandhi dead at the end of the 30s and Gandhi was accepted as an authority, as a personality, practically to everyone in India. So the party, the organization whose ideology contributed to the killing of Gandhi could not have any hope of winning the hearts or winning the votes of people in India. So for some time, these nationalist religious parties, RSS, and they stay in a kind of shadow, To make a long story short, I don't want to go too deeply into this. In the meantime, the opposition, the national religious parties, they came to power in free elections in India in 1977, only for 2 years. And then Congress again was ruling. Then in 1985, 3 years after the establishment of Bharatiya Janata Party. Bharatiya Janata Party was founded in 1982. In the election 1984, they got 4 places in the parliament. Four MPs, members of the parliament, from BJP were in the Lok Sabha, which is the lower chamber. 4, nothing. The Indian parliament has 543 members. 543 members. In 1984, there were 4 from BJP, the present ruling for 10 years later. In 1985, there was a case, one thing happened, which I have no time to go into detail. I can write it down, or maybe you can. It is the so-called Shah Bano case. Shah Bano case. It was a legal case of one widow, of one Muslim widow, not widow, a lady who was divorced by her husband, and she was not happy with the money he was giving her. So she went not to the Muslim court, but she went to the civil court of India, which was against the practice in India. Anyway, I cannot spend too much time on this, but please see the Shah Bano case. Within the proceedings of the Shah Bano case, BJP, they raised the slogan. Hindus are in danger. We are in danger. The government is appeasing the Muslims. The government is a traitor of the majority of us. Majority of us are Hindus. And the government is changing the law of this secular Bharat, India, so as to favor and appease the Muslims. We cannot agree to this. So there were protests, there were those yatras, means or organized campaigns of the two leaders. The two leaders, the main leader that one day remember as far as the BJP is Lal Krishna Advani, genius, political genius, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee became the prime minister. In 1998, the BJP won the election. So this BJP, which started in 1984 from 4 members of the parliament, that went through the Shahbano case, and very important, made a big political case of the existence of one Babri Masjid. That is the Mosque of Babur. The Mosque of Babur in Ayodhya. Ayodhya is considered by the Hindus as the place of birth of God Rama. Whoever, maybe you have heard about Ramayana when you read Ramayana, so Ram is a hero of it, he's one of the gods, etc., etc. So the Hindus were saying that on the blessed and holy place where our God was born in Ayodhya, the Muslims in 1528 have constructed the mosque. In December 1992, this mosque was demolished completely. Demolished with no brick was left. So this events, this raising of emotions against what is very important if you want to create nationalism. You must give the people enemy. Enemy is a very good idea. So he said, this is your, and BJP, but they were political geniuses really. And they said, yes, we represent the true Bharat, India. We represent the true India, which was earlier. Now we are going to liberate the holy place where our God Ram was born, and we are not going to follow the law like the Shahbano case, where the Muslims will be favored. We stand for our religion, and moreover, we stand for our way of life. Now, but this should never be underestimated, the importance of way of life. Way of life. And this, in India, in Hindu, the Hindus call it Hindutva. Hindutva is not a religion. Religion is part of it, but Hindutva is a way of life. Is a way of life, and one of the founders of that concept, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, in 1923 has written a small book. Who is a Hindu? Who is a Hindu? But in his book he doesn't say who is a Hindu. The answer is, I am a Hindu, and I like it. That's it. That is a very good answer. And I don't need to make explanations. I'm a Hindu because I eat this, because I wear this dress, because that and that. No. I'm a Hindu, I like it. I like my way of life. And others, Savarkar, where other political parties have failed to deal with the caste system in India, the caste system very well. This is the only religion practically where it is officially stated that the people are not equal. People are not equal in the face of God. So the other political parties, Mahasabha, etc. in India, they could never become mass parties because they could not deal with this problem of caste. The lower caste, that probably is a party of Brahmins. So what Savarkar said, the caste problem, okay, it is written in the Vedas, hymn number 12, that the Brahmins came out of head of Brahma. The Kshatriyas from hands still. And the Shudra, or the Vaishyas, lower part, the Shudras from that may be so. But whether someone is coming from head or from chest or arms or legs or feet or what, our blood is the same. Building a connection, building a community upon blood. Our blood is common. We have the same blood. Okay, my idea was just to give the background that nothing, what is happening now, it is nothing sudden. It did not happen, happen suddenly. Now this Dharma, as I said, it was spirituality or Dharmanic concepts were substituted by Europeans by religion as ideology. Now, what happened in this 2014, 2024? Muslims were always a minority in India. They were always a minority. So why in the Indian press, even earlier, when I lived in India, and I had many years in India, I worked there, always in the newspaper, when they was talking about Muslims, that word did not appear. It was always a term, minority community. Why you don't see Muslims in the minority community? Anyway, so that was also an important thing was that in the 90s, and yet at the beginning of the 21st century, the power of Congress Party, that was the main political actor, that power of this party faded away. They became weaker and weaker. But there is no vacuum in politics. If someone is getting weak, then someone will get stronger. And this BJP, they were getting stronger and stronger. Please remember, in 2002, Narendra Modi was still the chief minister, which is like a chief minister of the state of Gujarat, which is part of India, province, should we say. He was the chief minister. In this 2002, there was a case in Godra, one small railway station, Godra, where there was an incident with some pilgrims coming from Ayodhya, and apparently they said they were attacked by Muslims, and in Godra, 2002, more than 2,000 Muslims were killed. And everyone was saying that, okay, Narendra Modi did not participate in this, but that he withheld. He held the police action for 2 days. So thanks to that, such a thing could at that time, Narendra Modi was on the list of people who cannot get the US visa. He was listed as a person who will not be allowed to come into the United States. But at that time, when he was the chief minister of Gujarat, I met him twice. I talked to him and said, you cannot say anything about him when you talk to him for a short time. Anyway, the Muslims slowly were put into the position of into inferior position. They were accused of killing cows. Very important thing. When I was in India some years ago, every day I'm traveling to India. First time, some years ago, they said, we now have in India an organization called Cow Klux Klan. Cow Klux Klan. These were the people who were waiting, the vigilantes who were waiting for cars or trucks were transporting cows, or places where cows were slaughtered. And these people were lynched, they were killed. So these things were happening, and Muslims were called the others who had more children. Muslims are infiltrators, in other words, of the Prime Minister during the campaign. They are infiltrators. They are loyal to someone else. They are just here, they are infiltrating us. They will have more and more children, and suddenly there will be more of them than us. So these are the words also from the election campaign in 2024. This year. In June there were, the election in India lasted 3 months. So So what is happening, what has happened? It's not just that the BJP is against Muslims and all the other parties say, yes, we support Muslims, no, we should not do this. There is a sort of bulldozer policy. They're saying, well, the road has to go this way, we have to destroy this Muslim. And these are things that are happening in so many cases. Now, there is an atmosphere of suspicion and distance evolving into hate against Muslims. All over India. My friends whom I know, they are worried. They are worried about such atmosphere. Needless to say, after the election, which the BJP has won, but they did not get the majority to allow them to rule just by one party. They had to take two parties to rule. But the opposition party, they presume that we do not have to be very thankful to the Muslims because they have to vote for us anyway. They have no choice. They will not vote for BJP. They must vote for us. So, after the election, the opposition parties did not mention even once the word Muslims in their vote of thanks, in thanking the communities, the people who were voting for them. The word Muslim was not mentioned. Not even once. Was not mentioned. Why? Because these opposition parties, they were scared that they will be pointed out as pro-Muslims and that the middle class of the Hindu majority, again, they will be alienated and they will turn against this opposition party. But you see, we must not see the Muslims in India as a monolith, that all the Muslims are united, there is one, there is no All India Muslim party, they don't have a party. But Muslims in India do not form any religious monolith, let alone a political one. They are divided into sub-communities somehow resembling a little bit the caste system. Of course, there are no castes in Islam, but the groups are very hermetic. We have the ashrafs, it is a kind of highest group. Then we have Afzal and Ashraf. The first group is a self-declared elite, drawing the origin from the Central Asian ancestors. But the remaining two groups, the lower groups, they are subject to infiltration to political activities of BJP in order to split the vote of the Muslims. After all, 210 million. So it is worth doing some work to split that vote. And these two lower groups, they call themselves Pashmanda. Whoever is interested, you can see the Pashmanda, which means those who were left behind by this top group of Ashrafs. So we are Pashmanda. And this organization is the target of BJP political effort to split the Muslim voice. There is one difference. In the statements after the election of parties from South India is a completely different story than Central and North India. When BJP is saying, yes, Muslims were invaders into subcontinent in 14th or 15th century, in the same way, the Hindus, the Aryans, were invaders into India, and they pushed down south the original inhabitants of India, the Dravidians, the Dravidic people. So anyway, in this statement after the election, South India speaks differently. The Communist Party of India in Kerala and the party in Tamil Nadu, Dravida Munnetra Kazhaga, they clearly mention in their manifesto the Muslims as oppressed community subjected to campaigns of hate. So South is different. It is very interesting. History, I will not go into this. When during the British time, the Dravidians, the South India was protesting and was rebelling against, it was not against the British. They were rebelling against the, I quote, white Brahmins from the north. So this is just to mention. Now, what should the Muslims do? There was one case. Just when the members of the parliament were taking the oath on the Indian constitution, one of the Muslim members, and there are 24 Muslim members, 4% in the 543 members parliament, against 17 to 18% of population. So there is a total under representation. So what should the Muslims do? Now see this case. One of these Muslim MPs, members of parliament, who was taking the oath, at the end he said, "Long live free Palestine." Well, that's all right. That is an opinion. But my question is this the right moment that you mentioned this? You are in parliament, you just get your place, and now you take an oath of the Indian constitution, and suddenly you are saying long live. That's good. That's okay. All of us will vote. But this is not the place. This was not the moment to do it. Because this will be taken, and it was taken, by the BJP. See, these people are loyal to someone else. They are loyal to someone else. He takes an oath on the Indian constitution, but he's talking about some other Muslims. So people, I don't think they should do this. Now what scenario? What will happen in the someone may say, yes, probably the Prime Minister Modi must hate the Muslims. No, he does not hate them at all. At all. Hate is not the worst thing that you may meet in political life. The worst thing is, and that is what is happening, and here is a good comparison with Palestine, is dehumanization. Dehumanization, not hate. In fact, in the Israeli army, we have been taught, there are lessons how not to hate. Hate is an emotion. Hate is an, if you hate, so you cannot hate other entities than men. Normally you hate men for something. So certainly when you consider human being worth of your emotion, he or she is worth of your emotional picture. No. The thing is to dehumanize the enemy. It's not human. It's what the Germans were doing against the Jews during the Holocaust time. In the 30s, they were dehumanizing them. They are like rats, insects. So dehumanizing, if you do this, then you don't consider a man as a human being. So that is the point. It's not hate. He does not hate. He's a dehumanizing infiltrator. They're going to attack the man, maybe like Samuel here, they're going to spread diseases, etc. Now what should the Muslims do then? You have this Chinese religio, is a mockery of parliamentary democracy. And I can tell you, be sure, the whole world will turn blind eye to what is happening to Muslims. Nobody will do anything. Why? Because India can do anything, because India is not China. But they think, I could develop into a longer elaboration than the next, but let's just leave it as that. If you compare what sanctions and what are they put about China and India, and what does India do and China do, nothing happens to India, and nothing will happen to India because India is not China. Okay. Muslim Indians should emphasize their belonging to the South Asian cultural circle. They should emphasize, give the names of so many Muslims who are fighting for independence. And the name is huge. Why are they not promoting this? They should not do things like in the parliament's spectacular expression of affection towards other people. What is wrong with yeah, he can say this. When we will speak in the parliament, but not during the oath on Indian constitution. So in the same manner as Indonesia promotes the Nusantara Islam And in the same manner as we in Central and Eastern and South Europe promote European Islam, in other words, European Islam, which is here for 600 years, not the Islam of guests who are coming 10, 20, 40 years from Asia. This is Islam in Europe, but it is not European Islam. That is not European. You see, maybe this is not exactly about this subject, but let me. I had some lecture last year in Bombay. Last year in Bombay. About some, but as usually the questions were about something. So one man can say, how was it that in 2015 Polish Muslims have agreed and Poland did not take any refugees from Syria, from Iraq 2015? How was it? I said, yeah, that's true. And when we talk about this immigration coming to Europe, what word comes always and what word is emphasis? It is integration. You must integrate. It doesn't mean you must integrate. You must become like me. You change your cultural style. You don't behave like you did in your country for the last 500 years. You change. You must change. You must behave like me and be like me. Then you are integrated. Now, I think this is immoral. This is immoral. You cannot press someone to change his belonging to a cultural circle. Therefore, avoid this and potentially other problems which we can only learn from other countries in Europe. We should help in their countries. In their countries. Because we can integration is forcing people to change their cultural circle. Even if you force in one generation, after 2 generations, there may be different questions. So anyway, my suggestion is that the Muslims, the Muslim Indians, they should promote and put forward the concept of Bharatiya Islam. Bharati, like Indonesia does the Nusantara Islam. Islam is one. Okay, but I'm talking about the cultural circle, how you dress, how you live your daily life, very important thing. So this and the Muslims of India in that way is different. In the same manner as the Muslims in Indonesia differ from Muslims in South Europe. So that should be entered, the unity of sacrum, of course. There are no 5 Islams, there is one Islam. Okay? But the cultural effects and the cultural environment, well, it's different. We live in different ways. To be a Muslim, it is not a game to dress as Arab. The Arabs are a minority in Islam. They are 23-24%. They are a minority. So culturally, we should remember this. Not in terms of sacrum and the language, no, that apart, that is clear. But in terms of way of life, and daily relations between men and women, very important thing. So we should follow our culture in which we were born, raised, and so were our ancestors. So by emphasizing the importance of cultural local features, which together with the loyalty to Islam and the loyalty to the state, that is the feature of European Muslim. Loyal to Islam, loyal to my state. And so the Indians should emphasize this. And then the Muslim Indians should present clearly their positions as Indians and Muslims. At the end, I would like to thank the organizers very much for inviting me and for taking care of me. I'm very sorry if I caused any trouble because of my little medical problems. Sorry for all these, and thank you very much for all the to all the guests and friends from Ukraine and from Poland. Yes. Thank you so much. I enjoyed it very much. Being in this paper, and especially being in your company. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Marek.
So, of course,
Дякуємо bardzo Mareku i
przepraszam, że po angielsku mówiłem, ale ja ani po rosyjsku bym nie powiedział, a po polsku, no co po polsku, to ukraińskiego nie znam. Російського слова, так що
Марику, на що ви натикаєте? Що польська мова не є мовою Академії науки, да? По-польську не можна, або по-українську.
Especially to the young people, reference, you learn English. If you know English, well, everything is open for you. In the conferences or meeting where you go to Europe or any other place, you only speak English.
Okay. Питання маємо? Є питання? Є питання.
Так, прошу. Yes, пан Маріш.
Так як це англійською мовою, я буду говорити англійською мовою, щоб якась система. It's possible now to elect a Muslim president of India like it was earlier. On how it will be the future of Muslim regions of India, like Kashmir, like part of Kerala, like Hyderabad. Because it was very interesting for me, really, as a scientist. That's part about the different situation in southern India.
Yes.
Because especially in Kerala, I've listened a lot small things about this, but it wasn't such deep knowledge like we presented. So it's possible to elect a Muslim president. And what will be the situation in Muslim regions of India, like Hyderabad, Kashmir, or part of Kerala? And the third question is, it's possible to build Muslim political force.
Yes. Yes, you could. As I said, there is no all pan-Indian political Muslim party. Now, to election of the, or selection rather, I should say, selection of Indian president, but as you said, India already has Muslim president. The power of president is symbolic, it is decorated. So I would say that at certain point, yes, even BJP may be inclined to make a puppet Muslim president. Yes, even you may say, okay, he was a president, okay, have a president. He has no power. He has no power. So I could foresee this. In this election, BJP had to take two partners, two local parties. One of these parties from the south, that is from Telangana, which was later Hyderabad, Andhra Pradesh. So they do not have such a free hand in politics as they had in the previous term, where they were ruling without any allies. So this I could see that they can agree that you are calling us anti-Muslims. Okay, we'll have a Muslim president. Okay, a Muslim president, and the sound is different. Yes, I do not see any particular changes that may happen in Hyderabad. The glory of Hyderabad and the Nizam of Hyderabad and everything it was a Muslim. If you look at the map of India, till June 1948, you will see India, and in the heart of India, a separate state. It is as if there was a big hole in India, that was the state of Hyderabad. We joined only India, well, it did not join. The army went to India and said, you join it, okay. So in July 1948, it was taken into India. Nothing specific will happen in Kerala or in Hyderabad. By the way, the new Mufti of India is from Kerala. The new Mufti of India is from Kerala, from the south. I could also say one thing. BJP has been often accused of building the Hindu Rashtra. The Hindu Rashtra was the idea of RSS. Hindu Rashtra means the religion, Hindu state. Religijne państwo Hindu, not Indian, Hindu, religijne państwo. Building Hindu Rashtra. They say, oh, we are not building Hindu Rashtra, not at all. But I'll give you one example. Unbelievable. Imagine this happening in Ukraine or in Poland. 22nd January 2024, half a year ago. There was a grand opening of this Ram temple. What I was saying, in the place where the masjid, the mosque of Babar was, so that was one huge temple. It was being built for many years. That was a big religious ceremony. one of the biggest that probably in India ever took place. The role of the chief priest, the one who was the chief person to perform all the ceremonies of inviting Lord Rama into the temple, inviting, and the holy men of Hindu, they have figured out that there were only 84 seconds, 84 seconds, and in this time only, Lord Ram, God Ram, may be invited. Otherwise, it's gone. Probably will go somewhere else. And so this 84 seconds sounds funny for us. And who was the role of chief priest? Who was performing? I participated in this online, participated in real time and everything. The democratically elected Prime Minister of India was the high priest. He was performing the most sacred religious duties. But nevertheless, now there is a tendency now to avoid this Hindu Rashtra and rather to draw attention of the world to the term civilizational state. Państwo cywilizacyjne. This is not a new idea. The Chinese do this for the last 30 years. Tiansha. This is the Chinese concept of civilizational state. Now India, it seems, is also trying to pursue, to promote this term. We are a civilizational state, not a religious state. We are a state of many civilizations. So there will be an attempt to dilute this anti-Muslim politics. But to answer again your question, I do not see in the immediate time any changes to take place except minor methods which will be enforced upon BJP by their political allies, which will be minor. And as I said, nobody wants to stand against the all India atmosphere, dense atmosphere that Muslims, well, you better don't mention them, better just don't do anything, because the moderate Hindus, they may be against you. So I don't think that even if the president of India becomes Muslim, which may be possible, that will not change. I need to be a decoration. Like Saddam Hussein had, his deputy was Christian. Deputy of Saddam Hussein was Tariq Aziz. Tariq Aziz was a Christian. No problem. So is that okay, Mariusz? Czy to jest odpowiedź dobra? So, tak, proszę, jeśli są jakieś pytania, to bardzo proszę. Proszę? Tak, proszę.
Ja? Ні? Богдан? Ні. Це, дякуємо дуже.
Dziękuję, przepraszam jeszcze raz, że po angielsku so there will be more motivation for the young generation. Dziękuję.
Дякуємо. За українським стандартом.